some of you are jumping off the Milwaukee Brewer bandwagon after what's happened the last couple of days at Wrigley Field. We'll get to that next here on Locked On Brewer.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Everybody, thanks for joining me. My name is Chuck Freeman, longtime sportscaster here in the state of Wisconsin, proud host of Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. This episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for two to any golf tournament in the United States. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters golf tournament. Ends on October 31st. 2025. Coming up on the show today, overreaction. It's out there. Man, I'm seeing more hate with the Milwaukee Brewers in the last couple of hours here, like you wouldn't believe. Christian Yelich, interesting comments in the locker room after the game. Brewers did make some moves. And yes, Thursday's game at Wrigley, the afternoon game, is a pivotal, critical game. I don't think I have to tell you about that. All right, everybody. Brewers had their first 3-game skid since early May. And, yeah, they lost at Wrigley. And which was once a 9-game lead is now down to 6 with a chance to get down to 5 on Thursday if the Cubs somehow win again after the Brewers won the opener. Yeah, I'll admit it's getting kind of scary a little bit if that happens, but we'll worry about that when that happens. But, yeah, some of you did come after me on the comments yesterday, thought I was too cheery for losing a doubleheader. It's tough to get on a team that has been playing so well at a 40-10 clip going into Tuesday, okay? Some of these comments, Mark A. gave us a summer of fun, football season now. Really? LOL. Gotta love the Miz grinning like we'll say, after giving up a bases clear double. Chuck, the Brewers are falling apart. Sadly, Brewers fans will keep selling out games, and Mark A will keep lowering the payroll. If we lose tomorrow, the city will be in a very foul mood. They are showing right now they are too young to take the heat of the postseason baseball, a chance to put a rival flat on the mat. They chose a victory dance and let them back in it. No, the Brewers aren't celebrating anything right now. They haven't taken any victory dance. They haven't done any of that stuff. No, they're going through a much overdue funk in the last 2 days. The Brewers were playing at such a high level. And yeah, what I've been talking about on the podcast, and I've been saying, I hope you thought that was facetious, that the Brewers may never lose another game in their franchise history. It's hard to play at a 90% winning clip, right? In any sport, but especially in baseball. Winning 40 of 50 games and doing some of the incredible things that the Brewers had done this summer, stack up with some of the great teams in baseball history. But we all knew it was going to, Yelich said this in the locker room, and I'm going to get to his comments, that they were going to come down to life a little bit. It wasn't always going to be getting every break, getting every bleeder that goes through, taking advantage of everybody's errors and mistakes and all that. You know, the Brewers have had a lot of things go their way, and they've earned a lot of it too. But this happens in sports, man. You are going to go through a little bit of a slide. And I'm not sugarcoating it. Some of you guys are coming at me thinking I'm sugarcoating it. No, I don't want to see them lose. But, man, I feel like they're playing at such an extremely high level. And, yes, an extremely high level that, man, they kind of spoiled some of you guys out there. I'm not saying all, but some of you guys on there thought, okay, you know, this is the way it's going to be. They're going to win. They're going to win at that clip for the rest of the season. They're going to win 119 games. Yeah, I facetiously said that. I hope you caught that. You know, I didn't think they were going to win 119 games, but they're playing good. They are playing great, and I don't feel any less of this team. This is what happens. this sort of thing happens. The Brewers, again, their first 3-game skid since early May. I'll take that. I'll take with the way things are going to go. I think this team regressing to the mean a little bit. In other words, you stretch that rubber band out so much with everything that has gone your way. And you think about that 14-game winning streak and that 11-game winning streak. To have 2 winning streaks like that in a span of 5 weeks, who does that? Nobody does that in baseball. Had not been done in the National League in 90 years. So they were not going to keep up that pace. It was just that rubber band was going to break. So some of the hate that you're spewing at us, and I'm not talking about, all you guys. I'm saying some of you guys are spewing some hate about the Brewers on X and coming at Murphy and saying about the pancakes. He's more worried about the pancakes in his back pocket and stuff like that. No. Yeah, they had 6 hits on offense. 6 hits on offense. Terang continues the rake. He's got 11 hits on the 6-game road trip so far in the first 6 games of the road trip. And is it 6 or 7? 7 games. 11 hits in the first 7 games of the road trip. And the Brewers have lost the season series to the Cubs. Now, what that means is if they tie for first place, and God, let's hope it doesn't come down to that, they won't play a 163. They'll go like they did in 2018. They'll go to the tiebreaker. And the tiebreaker is the season record against each other, the head-to-head. In this case, the Cubs, by winning the series, by winning the series, it was 4-4 going in. They now have a 3-1 lead in the series. Even if the Brewers win on Thursday, the Cubs still own the tiebreaker. But let's hope it doesn't come back to that. Let's hope it does not come back to that. I'll say this, though. Once we do get to October, I'd be a little worried about Miz making a start. I mean, if the postseason were to start today and it doesn't, the Miz in a postseason game, I just don't think he's corralled that wildness. And we've seen it last couple of starts, and we've seen it periodically. And, he's fantastic. He's going to be a great pitcher, but I don't think he's there just yet. We went Miz Mania with the shorts and all that, and he's taken Wisconsin Brewers fans by storm. I don't know. I'd be a little hesitant to my trust in him has dipped a little bit, because in a postseason game, you don't want to be getting out there walking guys and giving up runs. And then Michael Busch hits a 3-run double. Can't be doing that. So as of right now, I'm not saying he can't regain that trust with me, but with the Miz, I don't know. I'd be a little unsettled with him on the mound. In fact, his next start, I'll be a little unsettled because he's had a couple of wild starts here lately. And yeah, he bounced back after giving that in that 3rd inning. He bounced back and he was eventually done in the 5th. But I mean, his overall numbers aren't horrible. Again, if the Brewers score more runs, that maybe covers up for some of that. They bailed him out in the last start. Didn't happen this time. But Miz, those control things, man, I don't want to be losing games in the postseason that by walking in runs and walking the bases loaded, just giving runs away. Cubs tried to do that in the 9th inning with Palencia, walking guys. I mean, we saw the Reds do this last weekend with their closer, Pagan, walking guys. And by the way, the Cubs, I'm not impressed with the Cubs. And Cub fan, you can come after me all you want, and you may be a top 5 team in the power rankings, but that's just because I don't think there's a lot of great teams in baseball right now. Okay, I don't. I'm not really all that impressed with the Cubs right now. Yeah, they beat the Brewers 3-4, and that's not sour grapes whatsoever. But I don't look at the Cubs as being a great team at all. The Brewers are still a better team. Now, the Cubs have taken the season series. I think overall, you can't argue with how good the Brewers have played this summer compared to the Cubs. Cubs have played about 500 baseball. And you look at the Cubs schedule, they play a lighter schedule here in the next few weeks. I know some of you are worried about that. The Cubs struggled with the Pirates last weekend. Okay. So just because they play a lighter schedule, and the Brewers play the Phillies, they got the Padres in there and all that. Yeah. Brewers would play a tougher schedule, but the Cubs could lose to anybody. Okay. They are still team lifeless to me. Okay. Brewers have a nice lead still. 6-game lead. I would take it. We'd all take it at this point. Although Thursday is a critical game, right? You win, you go to 7. You lose, you go to 5. You don't want that to happen. Not saying 5. I mean, 5 is still a lot, but 9 felt a lot better when the lead was 9. Adam McKelvey. A terrific writer, Brewers.com, friend of mine. Talked to Yelich in the locker room tonight, and Yelich had some interesting comments about what would you say to Brewer. He was asked, what would you say to Brewers fans about this 3-game skid? We'll get to that coming up next. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. The show is brought to you in part by Monarch Money. Monarch Money. You want to know where you're spending your money? Are you spending it on going out to dinner like us, going out to lunch like our family does sometimes, and spending money going out to eat like we do sometimes? Well, Monarch Money tells us that. Monarch Money, most people can't name their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments, but you can get a full picture with Monarch Money. Monarch Money comes in. It's your all-in-one personal finance tool, brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. It can tell you how you're doing your spending. It'll do your heavy lifting for you, linking all your accounts in minutes and see everything categorized right there. So use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB and take advantage of this. MonarchMoney.com. Check it out. MonarchMoney.com. Put that in your browser, LOCKEDONMLB, and then you'll get the 50% off your first year at MonarchMoney.com. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Find out where you're spending your money. And you want to grow. You want to see where your paychecks are going. You want to grow your finances. Feel in control of your money with Monarch Money. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. All right. By the way, my podcast, you get it on Google, Spotify, Apple. We're on all the major downloads out there. All the major downloads. We're the #1 Brewers podcast on the internet. And if you're already listening to us on the audio versions, go to our growing YouTube page, search Locked On Brewers on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell that alerts you every time we drop an episode here on Locked On Brewers. Murphy gave his team a big group hug in the locker room, not physically, but said he loves these guys and all that. He's not coming down. He's not criticizing these guys. He not giving them tough love. But, these guys this team has played very well for him. I don't have to tell you that. And Murphy's smart enough to know that 3 losses does not make a season, at least in the regular season. So, Adam McKelvey, Brewers.com, said, Christian Yelich, what would you say to fans about this 3-game skid? Yelich said, who cares? And he wasn't saying, who cares what the fans think? He said, and Yelich has been around a long time. And this is what the baseball players, this is the way these guys think. It's a long, long season of playing every day. You got an occasional Thursday off. It's a long season. Yelich says, we're out there competing. There is no panic in this clubhouse whatsoever. No panic in this locker room. We did get our share of breaks. Some of those breaks aren't going their way, he said. But I am really happy with the way we're competing. And right? I mean, you got to be happy. I said this in yesterday's podcast. Lost a doubleheader. They competed. 9th inning, stranded, the bases loaded. Yelich says, we get a base hit there. A couple of things happen. That ball's not snow coned at second base. We're not talking about what do you say to fans? Well, when they're panicking over their 3-game skid, there's no panic in that locker room. I can tell you that for a fact. These pro athletes out there's no panic. No, he's happy with the way they're competing. They are playing hard. He talked about winning is hard. He talked about this. Yelich talked about how difficult winning is, and it should never be taken for granted. Losing is very easy. And there's a lot of bad to mediocre baseball teams out there, and we see it every year. I mean, it's easy to lose. Okay, to do what the Brewers do and emerge right now as the best team in baseball, that takes a lot of work. Yeah, there was some breaks went their way, but the Brewers made their breaks. They're playing hard. They're competing. I don't think anybody could argue with that, right? I mean, for those who are coming down on the Brewers, you can't say, well, they're lackluster out there. They don't care. They're taking a victory lap, as somebody on Twitter put. They're not doing any of that. They're going out and they're playing hard. It's just not working right now in this 3-game skid. And Yelich was saying, even if we lose on Thursday, we go back home. I don't even remember who we play on Friday, but we'll go back home and regroup. Not that he's counting Thursday as a loss, but what he's saying is, even if we lost again, there's not going to be panic on this team. I mean, they've only lost 3 in a row. And it's not a fake enthusiasm like some of you guys think. No, it's 3 in a row. It's competition. The Cubs are a playoff team, right? They're going to the wild card. And Yelich even said this. We could see these guys. We probably are going to see these guys in the playoffs. Thursday will not be our final game against these guys. We'll see these guys again. But I will say this. This is me talking. It is a pivotal game on Thursday. I mean, it is. If you think about it, going to a 7-game lead if you win and down to a 5-game lead if you lose. Wow. So if you win tomorrow, you lose the series 3-2, and you only lose a game in the standings to these guys. You lose, and the Brewers would have lost, well, after having a 9-game lead, it would have lost four games in the standings in 3 days. Oof. Yeah. I'd like to keep that cushion up to 7 if you can. Right? So you got to win. You know, they always say in baseball, you got to win games against that team that's in second place, and the second place team has got to beat you. That's your best shot. You don't have to depend on anybody else. It's you and that team. You control your own destiny. The Brewers do. They need a win. Big time. Got to get everybody. I'm not panicking. I'm just saying they got to get a win. They passed out the hamburgers, by the way. George Webb Burgers. Big lines. There was a line at the George Webb's in Peshtigo. Yes, some of you have written me and said, yeah, there's a George Webb's in Peshtigo. Yes, on the way to the golf courses up there, I've stopped at that one. It's along the freeway, or the highway up there, 41. Yeah, I know where that is. Man, long line up there. Brewer fans in Peshtigo. Love it. Brewers made a couple of roster moves. They did call up Carlos Rodriguez. And I said this last Sunday night, early Monday morning, that the Brewers were going to be sending guys down and bringing guys back. And they sent Tobias Myers down and Chad Patrick down. Looking for a fresh arm with Rodriguez. And this is going to happen. I mean, Rodriguez may come up and pitch and be gone right away. Brewers are on a stretch of 19 games in 18 days. They're going to be making more moves back and forth, looking to get fresh arms up here. That's what teams do. Remember in 2018, remember how many players contributed to them winning a division title? Same thing here. A lot of pitchers. They'll be making moves every day or every other day, roster moves. Great to see Ortiz back in the field. Murphy did say on Tuesday night that he didn't think Ortiz would be back in the lineup, he was battling gastrointestinal. Something was going on with the system, with what he ate or whatever. And then, of course, he took the ball off his knee. He said Ortiz said his knee went numb in that doubleheader when he hit that ball off his knee, when he was trying to run it out at first base. But he's back in the lineup Wednesday. Again, another guy, competitor. I want to be back in that lineup. Doesn't want to sit out. Speaking of guys who sat out and are trying to get back, Hoskins rehab start was down in Nashville on Wednesday night. Homered, hit a booming home run. Good to see. Good to see. All right, when we come back, we'll talk about this critical game. They're going to face Shota, who's been very good since coming back from a hamstring injury in June. We'll get to that coming up next. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. 5 Hour Energy. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. Grape, ginger, lime-flavored shot brings the iconic taste of the golf course flavored to a non-alcoholic boost. I take 5 Hour Energies. I take the cherry every day. But, man, 5 Hour Energy Transfusion gives you mental clarity, gives you that little energy boost that you need, especially in the afternoon, or if you're out on the golf course, whether you're on the course or need a little extra push to power through your day. 5 Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love without ever leaving the green. Golf is all about good times and staying focused out there. Right now, you can also have a shot at going on a golf trip with 5 Hour Energy. Tee it up. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entries. No purchase necessary, but you have a chance to win your dream golf trip for two to any golf tournament in the United States. It excludes the Masters. The offer ends October 31st. No purchase necessary, October 31st, 2025. But go to 5hourenergy.com, or go to this particular site right here to register. 5hewin.com. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. Shota on the hill. He's had 3 quality starts in a row for the Cubs. On the season, he's got a 3.06 earned run average. But against the Brewers, he's made 3 starts. This will be his 4th. And some guys got some good numbers against him, Shota. Ortiz is 3 for 5. Yelich is 3 for 7. Contreras 3 for 7. Perkins 3 for 5. Ortiz 3 for 7. I think I said Ortiz already. Turang is 0 for 6, even though Turang's on a little bit of a heater offensively on this road trip. The Brewers are batting .296 as a team against Shota, who got a 7.25 earned run average in his career in 3 starts against the Brewers. Again, coming off a hammy, 3 quality starts, and of course, he's a lefty. We'll see what kind of lineup the Brewers throw out there. If they throw the Sunday lineup out there, where they're resting guys because, they're left-handers, the Freeliks and the Turangs and guys like that. We'll see. I hope not. Want those guys in there. Priester on the hill. Priester against the Cubs. He's got 1 decent one and 1 bad one. It was not a good one for him against the Cubs back in early May 2nd. Gave up 7 earned runs. Came back late last month on July 29th. Much better. 2 earned runs over 5 1/3. Priester against Shota. Wind sounds like it's blowing in again on Thursday at Wrigley, just like it was on Wednesday night. And I see on the betting line, the Cubs are a -142. -142. But man, that is a huge, huge game coming up on Thursday. One other note, this down to the minors. Jesus Mate, the guy is not going to be in Appleton very long. Hitting .386 in Appleton, hit another home run on Wednesday nights. And, it's going to be a matter of time. 2027 before we see Mate up here. But, man, the guy is rolling right now in Appleton. Next stop, Biloxi. No doubt about that. Maybe soon. All right, that's going to do it. Again, everybody, let's hopefully get a win on Thursday. But I would say, again, take Yelich's advice. And I know Yelich is one of those guys who, and I hate this expression, Never gets up too high, never gets too low. I really hate that expression. But it is kind of that way with Yelich. He's kind of like the same guy, whether they win or lose. You can never really sometimes tell with Yelich. But he did say, we've lost 3 in a row. Who cares? Not like, who cares? Like, I don't care about the fans, or we lost 3 in a row. Big deal. But he is saying, we're going to bounce back, and there is no panic in this locker room. And that's what we should take going into Thursday afternoon game. We'll be back here late Thursday night with the next edition of Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe again. We're on all the audio podcasts out there, all the downloads, all the platforms, Locked On Brewers, and subscribe to anyone. All the content is free. And of course, our growing YouTube page, search Locked On Brewers on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Always hit me up on Twitter, Chuck Freeman, Freimund. Thanks for making us your first listen to every day. All you everydayers here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. This is Chuck Freeman. Have yourself a great Thursday, everybody.